G'day, citizens of the world. Battlebop here. We've all heard of the Third Reich, but the Fourth Reich is here, and they are making an impact. But it's not only the Fourth Reich, it's a new world order. They are also up and running and feeling strong these days. But let's start. The Third Reich was Hitler, but Hitler had a dream, and he wanted to see the whole of Europe unified under one flag, under one dominant government. And the way he went about it was, at least what we can say is wrong. He used force and military style to try and get to unify Europe in one big country. So in 1945, the Second World War ended, and we started getting unification in Europe under the European Union. It was established in 1952 to rebuild Europe after the Second World War, and it's gone through a myriad of changes, and some of the changes reminded us of the Third Reich. But the European Union has changed so much and become such a dictatorial system that they are the Fourth Reich. Now the European Union dictates to the membership countries what they can and what they can't do, and if they do not want to participate in their rules and their regulations, they're told to bugger off if they do not comply. So we can just as well put a swastika onto the European Union flag. And it is dictated mainly by Germany, because they are the richest nation that contributes to the European Union. And people like Angela Merkel is one of the main driving forces behind the European Union and its dictatorship. Now, with the European Union, even though many of the countries don't want all these bloody migrants, and they are 90% of them are not refugees. They are economic migrants that come from a cesspool of places where they actually voted for change, and when they're not satisfied with the change, they run away from their countries. These migrants are causing havoc all over the place. They come by the boatload full, and instead of returning them to North Africa, where they originate from, most of them, no, the non-governmental organizations pick them up and bring them to the European coast, where they are then organized into groups and distributed throughout Europe according to the European Union or the Fourth Reich regulations that they impose onto each and every country. That's why I am so glad that Britain, the UK, is getting out of the European Union so that they can get rid of these bloody dictators that try and subscribe to them exactly what they can do, how they can do within their own borders. And it's not only the Africans that come in to the European Union. There is a lot of migrants. Some of them are true refugees from places like Syria, where there's a civil war at the moment. But it's the Muslim countries that flooding into Europe, and they are causing major hassles for the governments where they are being hosted, not appreciating what the hell these governments are giving to them. They go up and demand even more. So, and if they don't get their way, this is what happens. The place burns. But some of the citizens of the European Union, specifically specific countries, are getting so tired of all this bullshit on the one side, I think if Hitler was around today, he would have smiled away at the way the European Union was unified under one flag. But I think there would have been total disappointment in his heart. Not that one of his ideologies was to keep the white race or the Aryan race as pure as possible for future generations, not to dilute it into all kinds of mixed marriages, mixed races, etc. And I think he would have had a tear in his eye to see what has become of European society these days under the Fourth Reich or the European Union, with all these migrants being allowed in. I think under his management they would not have had a chance in Europe. Now it is sad to see so many foreign nationals from the Middle East, from Asia, from Africa, from South America, all intermingling in cities around Europe under this one banner. And I think the dumbing down of the population, the ideology of the new Fourth Reich from the dictatorship of the European Union, and they're starting to rise up. And after Brexit, I can see a lot more people rising up, throwing out all those refugees, because the murders, the rapes, the assaults, the robberies, everything has had a dramatic increase over the last couple of years since the European Union opened its borders for these migrants, illegal migrants, not refugees. Now the European Union is made up, every country's got a representation in the European Union, but they can just as well on that little flag against their wall put their true name, the Fourth Reich, with a swastika in the middle. Now let's talk a little bit about the New World Order. People say no, it's deep state, etc., etc. But the world order is also alive and well. We all know what this building is. This is the headquarters of the United Nations in New York. And of all the members, we've got a Security Council, and now, because the United Nations are trying to help people in places where suffering is going on, they've got their own army, representatives all over the world. They're doing quite good, a lot of good work. But they're all also starting to try and dictate to the world what is their own function. And if we can just take a look at the Global Compact of late, they're trying to dictate to countries what and who they can take into within the borders without having a say to say yes or no. We want these migrants, we don't want these migrants. And this is also becoming a major problem because all the Islamic countries are cesspools, and all these people are trying to get out of their countries. And like the Muslims also said, we will take over the world without firing a single shot. And with all these Muslim migrants coming all over the world, Australia, America, Europe, that is creating chaos all over the place, because the rape, the murders has all gone up dramatically. Even with the New World Order, or the United Nations as we call it, recently passed a legislation that gave black African migrants preferential treatment in the membership countries. that they've got to have X amount given to them free of charge. They don't have to work for it. They get onto the welfare systems and they are basically ruining the welfare systems. This is a terrible idea. So in Australia, there was a march against the influx of Muslim and Islamic refugees, and the people are not happy because the Islamic people don't integrate, and there is major chaos going on with African gangs terrorizing the locals. There is many places in Australia that is now no-go zones where Sharia law supersedes the local constitution or even the laws, and the police are even shit scared to go in to these places to restore order. But it's a making of the New World Order. So we can just as well put N.W.O for New World Order on the gates of the United Nations head office. And welcome to our new world. So basically the Fourth Reich and the New World Order is going strong, and the leftists have had their chance. Unless we stand up against these guys, some of them are unelected. Actually, most of them are unelected, and they're trying to rule the world without any consequences to themselves, because they live in their little palaces, drinking their champagne, having their full bellies, while the people of the nations that they represent are suffering big time because of their policies that they implement. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.